3, 2, 1, go. Hello and welcome to a live edition of the Rob Carson Show. There you go. I think a little lower here. It is, of course, known as What in the World? Rob Carson's What in the World. Let me turn on my volume just a skosh. All right, welcome to the show. Glad to have you here, guys. I know that many of you have been waiting for just a little while to get the show on the road, and I've got plenty of stuff to talk about today, so don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. I guess the big news of the day is that Kamala, I don't want to be accused of racism. Kamala Harris is Joe Biden's pick for VP. Not a big surprise at all. Not a big surprise at all. I'm going to get to why she was chosen and what is going on with the Democrat Party. It's a take that no one else is doing, but people are beginning to hint at it. Some national hosts are beginning to get it just a little bit. And I don't mean this in a demeaning way in any way, shape, or form. I months ago had predicted that and I looked at the Imperial University in London prediction of coronavirus, and I said this is nonsense. This is nonsense. To shut the entire world down is nonsense. And I know that many of you think, oh no, it's still terrible. No, it's not really. No. And when I share some statistics with you very shortly, you're going to realize how we've been totally snowed on the coronavirus thing. It is ridiculous. I'm going to share that very shortly. But I have a take on this election that is going to shock you, and it will be echoed by many. Rush Limbaugh was hinting at it today. Mark Levin was hinting at it last night. And I'm going to share exactly what that is here very shortly. But, of course, Joe Biden announced that Kamala Harris was his VP candidate. Kamala Harris is very left of center, bat crap crazy liberal. She is not a moderate in any way, shape, or form. The media is attempting to paint her as some sort of a moderate. She is not that. She spent $35 million to finish in sixth place in the Democrat primaries. Joe Biden spent $36 million to win it. She finished in sixth place. She never had a big following. She had around 3.4% of the popular vote. She is not popular. She does not bring anything to the ticket. You're thinking, yeah, but she's a black woman. No, that isn't going to be good enough. That's not enough. And I'm going to explain why I think she was chosen in just a second. But here's the big announce ad that Kamala Harris was going to be Joe Biden's VP.
All right.
Hi. Sorry to keep you.
That's all right. You ready to go to work?
Oh my God. I'm so ready to go to work.
I was raised...
Now, of course, Joe thinks he's going to work at Walmart. He doesn't know that it's to be the president and her to be the vice president. Just want to know that. But now here she is, where she talks about all the things that she went through. And I pity her. She grew up in Berkeley, California, with parents who were very well off, an Indian mother and a Jamaican father who isn't mentioned in this at all. I don't know what happened to the Jamaican, but suddenly she's African-American, even though she's not from Africa. Her parents are not from Africa, and she's equally as Indian as she is anything else.
To take action. My mother knew that she was raising two black daughters who
No, she was raising two Indian daughters that were mixed race.
would be treated differently because of how they looked.
And not in Berkeley, California. It's nice to think that and claim victimhood of some type, but when you went to elementary school in the late 60s for the very first time, it was 40% minorities in your school. Okay, so you never experienced this. This is a line of crap.
Growing up, whenever I got upset about something, my mother would look me in the eye and ask, "So what are
Where's Dad?"
you going to do about it?" That's why when I saw a broken justice system,
And I saw Willie Brown, and I was 29, and he was 60, and I went,
I became a lawyer to try and fix it. It's why during the foreclosure crisis, I took on the big banks as California's Attorney General. It's why, as United States Senator, I have fought to represent people like my mother. People
And haven't done a thing in 4 years.
who politicians often overlook or don't take seriously. Right now, America needs action. In the middle of a pandemic,
I'm going to make a lot of promises now that we will never fulfill. Now, Donald Trump made a lot of promises, and he's fulfilled all of them.
the president is trying to rip away health care.
No, he's not actually. He's not. That's a lie.
While small businesses close, he's
Yeah, but you know why that one was boarded up? Because of the leftist Antifa rioting.
given breaks to his wealthy donors. And when the people cried out for support, he tear gassed them. America
No, he didn't actually. They were disruptive. They tried to burn up a historic church across from the White House. So you're wrong, and wrong. Here's something you didn't see about the ad there. Let me see if there's a picture. No, I don't have those pictures. Joe Biden actually in the ad, he was sitting there. He had his phone upside down, and he was reading from a script. He was reading from a script. When the announcement happened, he was reading from a script. That's how much he has slipped. I did a line. I said Kamala Harris in 2021 because honestly, if he's elected, he will not make it beyond 2021. There's nothing there. If you believe there's a coherent person behind Joe Biden at this point, honestly, you're just fooling yourself. And I wonder if maybe you're kind of the same as Joe Biden right now. And I think that most Democrats know 100%. Come on, guys, be honest. You know that he is not of sound mind. You know that he is not of sound mind. Give me a break. And here is where I share my giant blockbuster. No, I'm going to save it. My gigantic blockbuster analysis that no one else is doing that will be proven right because I'm always proven right. I'll share that in a second. But here is Kamala basically calling out Joe Biden, and she did in the debates, for supporting segregationist senators in the past. And he's been in Washington, D.C. for 50 years. I mean, he's never done anything different. But here she is just a few months ago. And by the way, she also said we should believe Joe Biden's accusers, and he supported racism, but suddenly everything's cool.
To coddle the reputations of segregationists, of people who, if they had their way, I would literally not be standing here as a member of the United States Senate.
No, you would actually, because you grew up in friggin' you never like me, you never walked fields of corn or beans, you never shoveled shit, you never raked corn, you never busted your ass, you never fed livestock. You didn't. You grew up in Berkeley, effing California. The schools were already segregated. And by the way, I'll just mention something. My kids' schools in Washington, D.C., there was busing. She went through busing. My kids went through busing, but my kids were bused to a crappy school 6 miles away from our home where there was a good school right there. When I moved to Kansas, one of my kids was reading at a third grade level in fifth grade and doing math at a third grade level in fifth grade because she was bused to a crappy school. Okay? So get over yourself.
It's misinformed and it's wrong.
Joe Biden's a racist. He's totally racist. Oh, what? Joe wants to make me his VP? Nothing. He's fine. He's awesome.
Apologize for that.
He's going to have to make that decision. But, let's be very clear that the senators that he is speaking of with such
I do believe that Joe Biden in the early 90s took an intern inside of an elevator and had his way with her, and she believed him. She believed her. She believed her, okay? She said the accusers must... How do you get past a guy sexually assaulting a woman in an elevator and just say, hey, it's cool. Oh, I guess it's because you also did other things to go to the top in California.
Are individuals who made and built their reputation on segregation. The Ku Klux Klan celebrated the election of one of them. So this is a very serious matter.
And suddenly became non-serious when Kamala Harris was announced as the VP pick. And again, not a big surprise, right? Hello, John. Hello, Kenny. Hello, Richard. Kenny's been with us for a while. How you doing, Kenny Cunningham? Good to see you. Richard and Diane. Diane, my old roommate. Hello, and Felix. Glad to have you guys joining me tonight on this glorious Friday evening. We're also broadcasting live on Spreaker tonight, in case you didn't know it. Here's a new ad about Joe Biden's racism. I kind of wonder if Kamala has seen this.
Unlike the African American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community. If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
Those were just said in the last few weeks.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
My Democratic colleagues don't like me saying this. I think the two-party system is good for the South and good for the Negro, good for the black. And other than the fact that they still call me boy, I think they've changed their mind.
They're gonna put you all back in chains.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
The first sort of mainstream African-American was articulate and bright and clean, nice-looking ballet. I mean, that's a story for me.
Meant taking on Jeff
To hear
Sessions.
you talk about the reputation of two United States senators who built their reputation and career on the segregation of race in this country.
Yeah, you know, and Joe Biden is an old school Democrat. He's been there forever. I remember when Barack Obama named him as the VP candidate back in 2008, and I laughed out loud because here's this, fresh face. He's, a black guy running for president, blah, blah, blah. And when you chose Joe Biden, are you out of your mind? Joe Biden was the, hello, look at all the emojis I'm getting. Thank you, guys. I do appreciate that very much. But he picked Joe Biden, and that was like, 12 years ago when Joe Biden was only like 80. And I laughed. I guffawed. I'm like, he chose an old school establishment Democrat to lead him into the White House. And it was, to me, it was a little bit stunning. I want to make sure that you have enough volume. I hope everything sounds okay. Hello, Greg. Hello, John. So, when you see that he, after all is said and done, I was just thinking about this, with all of the things that have been said and done about the Democrat Party right now this year, with all of the people who are protesting around the country, they're not. They're violent mob rioters. That Joe Biden, the racist old white guy, is the candidate for the Democrat Party it just shows you how intellectually and morally bankrupt the party is. It really is. Former Bernie Sanders spokesman felt a great deal of frustration over the Biden-Harris ticket for a variety of reasons. Joe Biden has articulated very clearly that he is the candidate who promises that nothing will fundamentally change, and it doesn't need to because Donald Trump is kicking ass, and they want to upset Donald Trump's progress. Progressive sour at Kamala Harris. The contempt for the base is wow. Wow. Jordan Chariton of the progressive media company Status Quo appeared to hold the same sentences, stating that Joe Biden gave the middle finger to progressives and black voters under the age of 50. Oh, you and your deafing demographics. Dear Lord in heaven. Here's my theory, okay? I want you to write this down because it is going to be repeated everywhere. And you may or may not agree with me, but I do believe the Democrat Party knows in its heart that this election is already over. I'll repeat that. They know in their heart that this election is already over. Okay? There is no enthusiasm with regard to Joe Biden. There's a 10% enthusiasm rating for Joe Biden. Kamala Harris spent $35 million to lose in sixth place in the Democrat primary with 3.4% of the vote behind Tom Steyer. Okay? Joe Biden spent almost $37 million to secure the Democrat nomination. Joe Biden is not an exciting candidate. Kamala Harris does not have any support. And I believe that Kamala Harris is the only person who wanted to take the job. I think a lot of people said no, because largely they know that Joe Biden, as the head of the ticket, I want you to think about this, and it's not very hard to understand. If you look at this man and you see his serious mental decline, it takes someone who is desperate with regard to moving up politically and possibly ignorant of the ramifications of hooking up Kamala Harris, we're hooking up with a candidate that is as inadequate, mentally incapable of becoming the president. It takes someone who is desperate to make a mark and even delusional about the possibility of victory that she would accept the nomination. Any true viable candidate wants nothing to do with this candidacy. The Democrat Party knows that they've already screwed the pooch. The Democrat Party knows that by not denouncing Antifa, what's happening in Oregon, what's happening in Portland, what's happening in Seattle, what's happening in Chicago, by not denouncing that, they've already screwed the pooch. By supporting Black Lives Matter, by supporting kneeling during the national anthem, by supporting burning the American flag, by supporting defunding the police, the Democrat National Party already knows that they've screwed the pooch, and there is no coming back from that. There is no coming back from it. They are the party of statues coming down. They are the party of Antifa. They are the party of not saying anything about the violent destruction of cities like Minneapolis. And why did Minneapolis just suddenly disappear? Why did Minneapolis just suddenly disappear? Why is it on the headlines anymore? Because they already know the election is lost. And all they're going to do from here on out is claim that the election is being tampered with, like they did in 2016 after the election. And then ultimately, when Donald Trump wins the election, they are going to make life a living hell in the United States. That's what's going to happen. My prediction, you heard it right here. That's what I think is going on. And we heard hints of this last night when Mark Levin said that by choosing Kamala Harris, the Democrat Party has committed suicide. And I really think they have. But you know what? I was also right about coronavirus. 5 months ago, I was right about coronavirus. I have very good friends in talk radio who wanted nothing to do with me because I said it's a load of crap. It's political. It's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. And the only reason why coronavirus and the only reason why all of these riots are happening is because it's 2020. That's it. And if you don't understand it, you're an effing idiot and you're not paying attention. Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. Plastic straws. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris agree on one thing.
Plastic straws are a big thing right now.
Yeah,
Do you ban plastic straws?
I think we should. Yes.
I don't think we should be using plastic straws anymore.
Well, how is Joe going to eat then? You'll notice some new designs up here. There's that, not going to wear a mask. I got some new ones. They're pretty cool, actually. There's, masks are stupid. Get a mask with this on it. Seriously, get a mask with masks are stupid on it. So if you have to wear one at work every day, you can actually wear it and it says masks are stupid. Rosie the Rioter, I'll start listening when you stop burning SH. Doesn't say SHIT. Okay? All of these are available. Hashtag done with the NBA. Hashtag done with the NFL. Hashtag done with Major League Baseball. All done because they won't stand during the national anthem. And they suck. So there you go. Order them right there. There's a politician in Illinois who wants to get rid of history. That's the latest thing. You know, they've gotten rid of statues and all sorts of stuff. And this guy, LaShawn Ford, wants to get rid of history class in school. Listen to this. Now I want you to watch because he's got a Louis Farrakhan follower in the background with his bow tie. This is, if I can, oh, no, it's not going to play. Son of a gun. I can't play it. Can't play it. All right. Never mind. Let's move on to some other stuff. Oh, this is kind of funny because the latest the latest I guess, affront to our ability to legitimately question a candidate for president is that a lot of media outlets are saying that we cannot essentially criticize Kamala Harris because she is a black person. She's not a African American, not at all. Her heritage, her father descended from Jamaican slave traders, and her mother is Indian. So the fact that you say that she is an African American is nonsense, and that's already being shot down, except for on MSNBC. That said, you cannot mispronounce her name. Now, if I've always said Kamala Harris, I might have said Kamala Harris for a while, and everybody thinks it's Kamala because we've seen Tamala or Tama, whatever. Tamiflu. So Tucker Carlson called her Tamala the other night, and a Democrat pundit went off on him. They had basically charged him with racism, et cetera. And then the next day, Joe Biden called her Tamala.
Tucker, can I just say one quick thing? Because this is something that will serve you and your fellow hosts on Fox. Her name is pronounced comma, like the punctuation mark la, Kamala. Okay? Seriously, I've heard every sort of bastardization
so
of
what?
that. That's how it is, Kamala.
Okay.
Well,
but
I think it's out of respect for somebody who's going to be on the national ticket. Pronouncing her name right is actually not, it's kind of a
So
bare
I'm
minimum.
disrespecting her by mispronouncing her name unintentionally. So it begins. You're not allowed to criticize Kamala Harris.
That's what I asked Kamala. I asked Kamala to be the last voice in the room.
You think that maybe if he made her his VP, he'd know how to pronounce the name? Really? Do you think he has any say in the choice? Do you think he remembers today that his choice was her? Honestly? Seriously? Hello, Jennifer. Hello, Pat. Who else do we got here? We got a lot of people watching tonight. And Greg. Oh, look at all the love. Look at all the love I'm getting. Yeah. By the way, make sure to check out my Newsmax TV show. I've got a hella episode of my Newsmax TV show running this weekend on Newsmax TV. NewsmaxTV.com, NewsmaxTV.com, if you would like to check for listings. 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Saturday and 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Sunday, NewsmaxTV.com. There you go. All right. By the way, this is Kamala Harris, who says she is African American. Oh, it's not going to show. Never mind. I'm going to get rid of that. All right, let's move on. So, Dr. Fauci has been piping up lately about the coronavirus. And I'm going to share something. I'm going to share something that's going to shock you about the coronavirus and how we've been lied to. Okay, I'm going to share that. And I've been right from the get-go. I'm going to share that with you just in 1 second because I have a fascinating article. But Matthew McConaughey actually spoke to Matthew McConaughey. He's an expert on diseases, I guess. I do like Matthew McConaughey. All right. That's the only thing I can do. But Matthew McConaughey talked to the good doctor about COVID-19 and what would happen if the entire planet got it.
Another one for you. If everyone in the world actually contracts the disease, what happens to it? Does it go away on its own? What happens if everybody?
No. Well, if everyone contracted it, even with the relatively high percentage of people who are without symptoms, Matthew, a lot of people are going to die.
Yeah.
Because even though, and this is the big misperception that causes so much difficulty in messaging.
I'm going to share something in just a moment that's going to freak you out from NPR. From NPR about how wrong public officials have been about this. It's horse crap.
To young people is that people who are elderly and people at any age who have an underlying condition.
Yes.
Diabetes, hypertension,
yes.
Obesity, heart disease. If you look at the United States of America with our
but if you don't have an underlying condition, it is less dangerous than the common cold.
Epidemic of obesity, as it were, with the number of people with hypertension, with the number of people with diabetes. If everyone got it infected, the death toll would be enormous and totally unacceptable. And that's the reason why
You've been wrong about everything.
We are against saying, let it fly, let everybody get infected, and we'll be fine.
They did it in Sweden, and it was fine. Here is, then this is the big question, because a lot of people, and I agree, Democrats do not want people to go to the polls. They would rather have people vote by mail. And the reason being is there's a theory which is entitled Cloward Piven. And it's a leftist philosophy about overwhelming the system and collapsing the system. And there are many on the Democrat Party who love mail-in voting because they know it would overwhelm the the postal system and collapse the system and cast doubt on the legitimacy of the election. Here is Dr. Fauci talking about why it's okay to vote in person. Now, we make accommodations for those who can't leave their homes. My mother cannot vote. She cannot go to a polling place and vote. We should make accommodations like we should protect people who are vulnerable from COVID. But the rest of us, get your ass to the polls. Your employer will let you go vote. It is illegal for your employer to say you cannot. So get your asses to the poll. Here is Anthony Fauci saying that it's perfectly healthy, perfectly fine. You will not die if you go and vote like we have for hundreds of years.
What about voting? So many people are concerned. We are in an election year. Some people are going to be heading to the polls in the next few weeks. Can people safely go?
I mean, seriously, she is a major network anchor. And this report looks like this. I mean, this here's me. Here's me. No budget. I'm really not in front of the Capitol building wearing a T-shirt, whatever. Honestly, seriously. And then here's she. I don't even know what her name is. Anyway, I think she's on CBS. And that's all you got? Me, them. Me, them. Me, them. Seriously, who looks better? Them. Come on. Back to the video.
Go out and vote in person, given that this year there is so much concern around the vote.
I think if carefully done according to the guidelines, there's no reason that I can see why that not be the case. For example, when you look at going to a grocery store now in many regions and counties and cities that are doing it correctly, they have X's every 6 or...
You couldn't do some sort of background there, some curtains, seriously, some paint. That is just so awful. Seriously.
4 feet.
Britton, how are you?
And it says, don't leave this spot until the person in front of you left their spot. And you can do that if you go and wear a mask.
And by the way, it makes no sense whatsoever. If you're 6 feet versus 4 feet, please.
If you observe the physical distancing and don't have a crowded situation, there's no reason.
Nonsense!
Why you shouldn't be able to do that. I mean, obviously, if you're...
Okay, so I go to work every day, and until 2 weeks ago, I had to wear a stupid effing mask, okay? I have met hundreds of people at work in the last 6 months. I work at a business that has over 200 employees. Maybe 1 or 2 people have tested positive, and they were asymptomatic. It's a line of shite. My son has a friend who tested positive for coronavirus. You know what he had? You know what his symptoms were? He was a little tired. Tired. Yeah. Good. Britton, I'm glad to see you doing well. I hope your military career is rocking because you absolutely kick ass as a human being, and I think you're awesome. How's that? Hello, Pat. How are you? Put the voting booths in the Walmart or Home Depot. Yes. Hello, Jennifer. Seriously, guys, honestly, where are all the deaths at Home Depot? Where are the infections coming from Home Depot and Aldi and Target and Walmart? Where are they? Where are all of the deaths and infections coming from Walmart and Aldi and Safeway and Hen House? Where are all the deaths? Yet we know that Herman Cain died because he went to a Trump rally. Where are all the deaths that are happening because people went to an effing restaurant? Which 55% of restaurants in this country are expected to possibly go out of business. And yet a Black Lives Matter rally is perfectly fine. Nonsense. Nonsense. That you can't go to a concert, that your kid can't go to school. Nonsense. I cried this 6 months ago. I said it was bull crap. And it is bull crap. And if you think it is not, you are a sheep. I have lost friends over this. It is nonsense. I go to work every damn day. I got a little schmutz there. I go to work every day and I meet people by the hundreds. The only people that I've ever known that have contracted this or tested positive were asymptomatic. The only people that I know that got really sick had underlying conditions and they were cured by using a plethora of medications, which include hydroxychloroquine, Zithro, and zinc. You are being lied to, you are being played, you are being lied to, and you are being played. And if you are still terrified of this virus, you either are not elderly, well, you should be. If you are terrified, you should be elderly with an underlying condition. Otherwise, don't worry about it. I had the swine flu in 2010. I had pneumonia. I laid in bed and I could feel the bubbles in my lungs. Nonsense. Nonsense. Here is Joe Biden talking about how we should wear masks. We should have to wear masks in public. Think about this. I want you to stop one moment. There is a presidential candidate who says that if you go out into the great outdoors anywhere in the country, what is this about? What is this about? In your entire life, have you had a presidential candidate say that you cannot leave your home without a mask on for months? Conveniently, not until after an election takes place. Dear God in heaven, pay attention.
The protective equipment and testing capacity and the like. But, I've put out a comprehensive plan over the last 3 months on each of these things. But
you have not put out a comprehensive anything. You don't have a comprehensive plan for your day. You don't have a comprehensive plan for breakfast. People have to feed you, for Christ's sake.
Today, I want to talk about one thing, very straightforward. Doesn't have anything to do with...
Why are you not wearing a mask now?
Democrats, Republicans, or independents.
Bull crap, it does.
It has to do with a simple proposition. Every single American should be wearing a mask when they're outside.
Stop. This man is saying that in the United States of America, the greatest instrument in the history of mankind for individual freedom and liberty and economic freedom, he is saying that if you go outside in this glorious, glorious country, that you have to wear a mask. What is the point of that? It is because when you are outside, the only reason you should be concerned is inside. If you are close to people and you believe this mask paranoia, the only reason it would make a difference is if you're inside. This man is saying that you need to go outside everywhere you go and broadcast fear and panic until the November elections are over. That's what this is about. It's also a way for him to not do debates, not come out of his basement, and not answer questions. Seriously.
For the next 3 months at a minimum.
Which is through the election. Now, if he's able to predict that, why is he not able to predict that you need to wear them through next May or June or July?
Every governor should mandate. Every governor should mandate.
He can barely speak.
Mandatory mask wearing The estimates by the experts are it will save.
Which experts? Which experts, my friend? And you are using the studies which come out of your a-hole.
Over 40,000 lives.
Now, there were people who said there would be over 1 million lives lost in America, and they were wrong.
In the next 3 months, 40,000 lives. The people act responsibly.
3 months, 90 days, election day.
And it's not about your rights, it's about your responsibilities.
Just honestly, wow, really? Do you believe this? Do you seriously believe this? Norm Kellogg says, didn't he just say that your rights don't matter? Oh, yeah, big time, brother. Big time. This is a piece that I read the other day, and I don't want to belabor this. This is from NPR. A piece that I read. It would be difficult to surpass the Iraq blunder with regard to weapons of mass destruction, but a new NPR report suggests the global response to COVID-19 may have been reached on a flawed premise. Mounting evidence suggests that the coronavirus is more common and less deadly than it first appeared. The evidence comes from tests that detect antibodies to the coronavirus in person's blood rather than the virus itself. The tests are finding large numbers of people in the U.S. who were infected but never became seriously ill. And when those mild infections are included in coronavirus statistics, the virus appears less dangerous. The current best estimates for the infection fatality rate are between 0.5 and 0.1%. Caitlin Rivers, an epidemiologist at the Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security. That's in contrast with the death rates of 5% or more based on calculations, included only people who got sick enough to be diagnosed with tests that detect the presence of the virus in the body. The public is behaving as if this epidemic is the Spanish flu, which is frankly understandable given that the initial reports have staked COVID-19 mortality at about 2 to 3%, quite similar to the 1918 pandemic that killed tens of millions of people. This is according to Jeremy Samuel Faust, an emergency medicine physician and instructor at the Harvard Medical School. Allow me to be the bearer of good news. These are frightening numbers, and they're unlikely to hold. On March 5th, vaccine expert Paul Offit, who holds the Maurice R. Hilleman Chair of Vaccinology at the University of Pennsylvania, told factscheck.org that he believed the WHO's organization of 3.4% fatality rate was too high, suggesting it is far below 1%. We are more the victims of fear than the virus, according to this man. The world is witnessing a wild overreaction to the disease. The problem is that people in this country and politicians are using this wild overreaction to their political favor, i.e. Joe Biden, who can barely feed himself applesauce through a straw. Neil Ferguson was the professor of mathematical biology at Imperial College in London. He predicted millions would die in the best case scenario. He was wrong. He was wrong. Since then, the U.S. alone has seen 40 million jobs lost. Hundreds of thousands of businesses have already been wiped away. The federal debt has surged to $26 million. It's a giant effing lie. Bloomberg analysis in May found little collaboration between the severity of a nation's restrictions and whether it managed to curb excess fatalities. Okay? So all of this bullshit with closing restaurants and wearing masks is crap! The Washington Post cited several studies claiming the lockdown orders prevented hundreds of millions of COVID-19 infections, saved millions of lives. These findings come with caveats. First, one of these studies was submitted March 22nd before the vast majority of COVID cases had occurred. The other study was conducted by researchers at Imperial College of London, the same school from which the director of the studies hailed. The person who directed the studies from, and his last name was Ferguson, from Imperial University in 2005 said that 200 million people could die from bird flu. 100 people died. He said that the best case scenario in the United States was 1.1 million deaths. His predictions are off by a factor of 10. Nonsense. Hello, Brandy. Hello, Greg. Glad to have you joining me tonight. And Norm, hello. Norm says, why hasn't Obama come back to save us all from the virus, just like he did with Ebola? Yes. Have we finally turned a COVID corner? 63,000 people have died from corona in the U.S. since it started. Many of those have been they've been lied about. Hospitals have been given a perverse incentive to claim that people died of coronavirus. This is from the CDC director. 163,000 Americans have died from it. Infections basically are dropping. Okay? 11 states are seeing increases. The rest are going down. This is what happens with pandemics. Let's move on. Police are starting to fight back in major metropolitan areas, including Portland and D.C. Black Lives Matter had a protest the other night in D.C., and the police have been finally allowed to kick some ass. Okay, the kid with the bike, like 16 years old? Okay, 16 maybe years old. Take the mask off, haul them to jail, call their parents in, and say, fix this. Please confront the police. I love this. I want the police to do a beat down, and they should be able to. Hey, Chris, haven't seen you in a while. How you been? It's going to get good. Off to jail with you. Hold on.
What you do, just every night. Quit your job. Quit your job. Useless. All you know is how to beat people.
I just want to punch him in the face. All right, let's move on to Antifa in Portland now. Antifa for the last 70 days has been destroying the courthouse in Portland, and President Trump sent in federal troops. Now, in Portland, the state police have pulled out because the prosecutor said that they will not prosecute the protesters who are causing damage. And they said, we're done with you, Portland. Here is it's kind of cool footage of the Portland police coming in, finally given permission to kick Antifa's ass.
You are in violation of ORS 166.023.
got to feel good to be a cop right now. You can actually do something against these guys. So done with Antifa and BLM. You know, I could watch these people bust heads all night, but I'd rather show you some people who have been impacted. Now, why haven't we heard anything from Minneapolis, guys? Why have we not heard anything from the cities that have been really, really impacted by the violence and the business owners in these cities? Why have we not seen a single video clip out of Minneapolis nationally with regard to business owners who've been killed by this violence? This is a black restaurateur in Portland. And this is where the Democrat Party is going to lose the black vote. And they have already lost the election in 2020. This is a black restaurateur talking about how his business has been completely wrecked. His business district has been wrecked. None of this has been about black lives. None of this has been about police brutality. All of this has been about Antifa and the overthrow of the government by communists. Here is a black restaurateur talking about all of these white kids from the suburbs coming in and wrecking the place and how it's ruined his life and others.
Well, as you see, our whole plaza has been destroyed, set fire
If you don't think this is tragic, you have no soul.
to, trash thrown by what we think are protesters that do not stand for what we stand for, which is Black Lives Matter. This does not have anything to do with the cause. So I want to implore all of you to stop this nonsense. These was black-owned businesses.
They don't care about you.
These was put together by black-owned business and people of color. And you came down here and you destroyed it. And then you tried to use it in the name of Black Lives Matter.
Nope.
It is not what that is. This is not what we do. We will not stand for this kind of rhetoric, this kind of actions.
Can you imagine being a minority and you have all these people who move into your neighborhood and wreck it and claim that they are there to make your life better?
If you really stand with us, then let's go downtown and let's talk to the powers to be and let's make real change. Because this is not going to happen. This won't solve anything. So I want you to stop it, think about it, what you're doing.
It's not about black lives. It's about an overthrow of the government. It's about Donald Trump and an election year. That's what it's about, kids. That's what it's about. And I hate to tell you this, when Donald Trump wins election in November, it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. And the Democrat Party knows they've already lost. All right, here is Chicago's on fire. Okay, Chicago's on fire. Jesse Jackson called the widespread looting of Chicago businesses the other day a shame, humiliating. Our martyrs cry together in shame is what he said. He says that the looting is humiliating, embarrassing, and morally wrong. Now, you know, when you've turned the corner on Jesse Jackson, you've lost the argument. But there are people who, by the way, are done with Antifa violence. In Inglewood, which is a suburb of Chicago, there were some Black Lives Matter organizers who were going to go in and they were going to loot Inglewood. And the neighbors of Inglewood said, F you, no, done.
Oh, baby! Oh, baby! What a baby! Fucking baby! I ain't seen none of you motherfuckers when their kids got killed. Shut up! I'm out here every motherfucking day. I'm out here. Y'all don't come out when the kids get
This is a person who actually lives in the neighborhood, and he's done.
shot. Y'all come out when they got got something to do with the fucking police. We out here every day watching our kids get their brains blew out with no fucking funding.
And who's blowing their brains out? Yes, fellow black people.
No resources, but you motherfuckers get all the resources, and y'all want to come over here and disrupt our motherfucking neighborhood.
Look at him call out the white Black Lives Matter protesters.
Now stand up if I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong if I'm wrong. I don't see none of you motherfuckers when these kids get...
God, I'm so tired of these protests. I'm tired of people talking into megaphones. Let's move forward.
Okay, so what do you guys have here for tonight?
Well, first of all, let me start off by saying there's been a lot of misconceptions since this shooting of this 20-year-old boy. A lot of people saying that the looting downtown sparked from Inglewood. We're not having that. It didn't spark from Inglewood. Those were opportunists. We're tired of Inglewood.
Everything that happened downtown in Chicago was an organized looting. It had nothing to do with the police shooting I won't get into right now. It had nothing to do with it. It was people who are anarchists who broadcast, come downtown and steal stuff. That's it. That's all it was about. And if you watch it, you will know that.
In a black eye for any and everything that happens. Now, today, there's a protest. A protest was scheduled where they're going to come down here. Rumors had it they're going to bust out the police windows. No matter what they were going to do, they weren't going to come to Inglewood antagonizing our police. And then when they go back home to the north side in Indiana, our police are bitter and they're beating up our little black boys. So
no, they're not beating up your little black babies because they're been whatever bull crap. But you're right about something. There are people who are outside influencers coming in and making a mess of things. That's what it's all about. Here is something interesting. There's a movement in the country called Walk Away, hashtag Walk Away from the Democrat Party. Here is an Antifa / white Black Lives Matter protester and a black person who's saying, you know what, honestly, I don't need you to step forward for me. I don't need you to stand in here and tell me that, I am a victim. And I love this.
Right to tell me my life matters. I don't need your privilege to tell me or to justify who I am in America. This is my country. This is my land.
Meanwhile, there's these suburban white kids saying, oh, you poor little black people. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm here to protect you. And she's like, STFU. Love the earrings, by the way. Spectacular.
I walk around here as bold as I want to. And I don't have to have you to co-sign and tell me my life matters. That right there insinuates that you think your voice is bigger and better than mine.
I love this.
Yes, it does.
Come on. No, he's going to learn.
You can.
I love this, and I've said this since like the 90s, that there are a lot of white suburbans who are willing to step in and be offended for other people. Okay, if you talk to anybody who's offended by the Washington Redskins, they are white suburbans, have nothing to do with Native Americans. Most Native Americans are like, no big deal, keeps us in the public spotlight. It's a tribute to our power, blah, blah, blah. But there are always white people willing to step in from suburbia and claim some sort of offense. And it's bullshit. Let's talk about Bill de Blasio turning New York into an absolute hellhole. I'm going to admit something to you. I've never been to New York City. I've never been. I know it's shameful. I've never been to New York City. I would love to go to New York City, but I've never been had the chance to. I've always busted my butt, got out of college, worked, never went to Spring Brayton College. And then when I got out of college, I was just working. And consequently, never been to New York, never been to a lot of places, never been to Europe. I know, I suck. Anyway, at this point, I don't think I would ever visit New York. I'm very ashamed of. No, I'm not ashamed of New York because I have no place in New York. But honestly, I think New York needs to get over itself. New York has always been very self-centered. I'm from Iowa. New York has always made itself as some sort of epicenter that I'm supposed to be grateful for. It's awesome. It's spectacular. New York. New York has never given a shit about anybody but New York. 9/11 happened, everybody got behind New York, but if 9/11 happened in Des Moines, New York wouldn't have given a shit about anything. So F New York, as far as I'm concerned. F New York! How about that? F New York! Done with New York. New York could give a shit about you and me. Honestly, New York is not a metaphor for America. There was an entrance where immigrants came through the early 20th century, and they came in, and there was Ellis Island and the whole deal. But honestly, could have done it actually through Charlotte. But New York suddenly thinks that they're the epicenter of the country, and they're not. They never have been. The country. I have no connection to New York, and most of us do not have a connection to New York. Screw New York. Screw New York. Anyway, here is what Bill de Blasio is doing to New York City. New Yorkers are streaming out of New York. Yeah, moving companies say they have been inundated with people looking to leave New York City. I actually originally thought about moving to New York when they asked me to produce a show in like 1992. And I said, I'm not a show producer. It was Danny Bonaducci's show. Where is he? Where's Danny Bonaducci? Nowhere. All right. They asked me to produce Danny Bonaducci's show. They're going to pay me $100,000 a year. In 1992, and I said, first of all, not going to produce a show. I am an entertainer. Second of all, $100,000 a year is not enough to live in New York City. And I was right. The moving company Oz is saying people are moving out of the country or out of the city in a record pace. And why shouldn't they? All of the businesses are closed. Bill de Blasio has said you can't go to a restaurant. Andrew Cuomo has said you can't go out unless it's a protest. And then there's this, the whole heroin, homeless people thing. Who in the hell would live in New York? Who in the hell would live in New York? No effing way. No frickin' way. I think that's outside of the Central Perk from Friends. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I'm looking for a piece from Bill de Blasio. Bill de Blasio. Hold on one second. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. This is Bill de Blasio being confronted by a baker in Chinatown in New York. Let's see if I got, there you go. And Bill de Blasio turned his back. This is him stopped by a bakery manager walking through Chinatown on Wednesday. And the baker said, you're killing us. We're all hurting. Bill de Blasio says, hey, too bad, so sad. Here it is.
We've been taking a hit since January. We lost our Chinese New Year, our busiest day.
They lost the Chinese New Year, the busiest day
of our community, the most festive holiday that we have. Then
Bill's going to turn his back on this guy.
And now we're all hurting. What we need is I know Margaret doesn't but our yes, but we need help. We need more confidence. Our merchants need more confidence. All
right. Look at it, turning away without finish my thought here. No, it's time to move on.
Yep. Everybody please step to the side. A little bit of space, please. Thank you very much.
What a douche. I mean, honestly, what a douche. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So Hillary Clinton was asked about possibly having a a position in the new Biden administration, she really needs to let it go. Here she is talking on a TV show about the possibility of joining a Biden administration, which will never happen.
Our next question from Barbara in Austin. She wanted to know, if you were asked to serve in the next administration, would you accept?
Oh, Barbara, I would, I'm not even going to go there because I am so...
God, will you just retire?
Focused right now on just helping them get elected, which is what I think everybody should be focused on. And
your eye bags are arriving on carousels 1, 2, and 3.
And let me just add, and I don't want to scare people.
Oh, you do every day.
I want you to be prepared. I have every reason to believe that Trump is not going to go, silently into...
Okay. Now, again, I will say this. The Democrat Party already knows that Donald Trump has won the election. They already know it. She's setting this up, guys. They know that they're going to lose. They know that it's over already. They do. Dear God in heaven, back up. I want you to have a moment of clarity. Look at Joe Biden now. Look at his pick for VP. If you don't think this is already over, you're an idiot.
The night, if he loses, he's going to try to confuse us. He's going to try to bring all kinds...
God, she is such a wretched, awful person.
...of lawsuits. He's got his crony attorney...
Joe Biden has 600 attorneys already contesting the election. He already has 600 attorneys questioning this.
General Barr ready to do whatever is necessary. So I can't even...
General Barr. Okay, yes.
Think yet about the administration. I'm ready to help in any way I can because I think this will be...
Will you please just go away? Just go away. Hello, Brandy. Hello, Greg. How are you guys? Glad to have you joining me tonight. Hello, Norm and Pat. Good to have you joining me tonight. Let's move on to other stuff, shall we? Because I'm, I got some other stuff to do. Philadelphia. Some people said, you know what? We don't want to have our Christopher Columbus statue destroyed. An attorney praised a judge for putting the brakes on the Philadelphia Art Commission's plan to remove a Christopher Columbus statue from Marconi Plaza. Some people showed up with guns and said, we're not going to allow it to happen. We've had a lot of monuments destroyed and torn down. Here's how you do it. You go to, a city council and you vote. You have it removed. You don't just throw a temper tantrum and have it removed. In Philadelphia, they said, you know what? We're not going to do that. We're not going to let you do that, Antifa. We're not going to let you spoiled children tear down a statue.
So this was yesterday, video posted to Twitter by Unicorn Riot, which calls itself a nonprofit journalism organization. They were saying their reporter was threatened by the crowd. There were some men wielding bats, but no serious cases of violence were reported by police. That crowd stood watch over the statue for hours into the night. For many, Christopher Columbus has become a symbol of the invasion of Native American lands. Others say he's a symbol of white supremacy. But this is Philadelphia with deep Italian roots.
Yeah, he never took over anybody's land. He never spread venereal disease. Bullshit.
On that statue, it says presented to the city by Philadelphia by Italian citizens. So, of course, South Philly has deep roots in Italian history. So lots of people are saying to keep the statue here and learn from history. So debate on both sides. We talked to both sides earlier this morning. Take a listen.
If this statue has to come down too, bring it down. Rizzo came down. This can come down too. I'm very concerned about their needs.
I'm very concerned because I'm very offended.
To escalate to this kind of, bringing guns to what could be people.
You're a giant, fat, moron, idiot child.
Peaceful.
Why? Why? That's all I want to know. Why? Why do you want to tear that down? Why? It's history.
Because you're a little dickhead. That's why.
You want to tear down history? You're not going to change it by tearing that down. There's nothing's going to change.
As we come back here live, there's been some discussion between these sides saying maybe they should put up a sign on this statue.
Blah, blah, blah. They need a sign, whatever. Did you hear that HBO Max is going to put a disclaimer in front of Blazing Saddles? Have you seen Blazing Saddles? Mel Brooks' Blazing Saddles. Have you seen Gene Wilder? Have you seen that movie? I got a good friend who on the day that Gene Wilder died, actually a day later, we went to see Blazing Saddles at a theater in tribute to him. You need to watch Blazing Saddles. It is a statement on racism. It was done in the middle 70s, and it is effing brilliant. And for those of you who would try to drag us back to 1968, you are idiots. Mel Gibson, even Norman Lear got it in the 70s that we were ready to move on from this race-baiting bullshit. All in the Family, Good Times, Sanford and Son. Watch them. Watch them. We moved beyond this bullshit years ago. 40 years ago, we moved beyond this bullshit. Blazing Saddles was a marvelous tribute, making fun of racism, and watch it with your children. If your children don't understand it, watch it with them and explain why using the N-word in the movie was a glorious ability to condemn racism. The N-word was used liberally in Blazing Saddles. You've got to watch it in context. It is about making fun of racism and racists, and if you don't get it, God damn it, you need to be swatted upside the goddamn head. Unbelievable. Mika Brzezinski hates Donald Trump, and she had a meltdown. I'm going to share a little bit of Mika's meltdown. Let's do it, shall we? Because honestly, she's dumb as a box of rocks without the rocks, and here she is going absolutely bat crap crazy.
There's clear disdain that I have for this president, but look at the facts. Look at how he's worn us down, from his paid-off porn star to Russia lies.
What about you sleeping with your co-star and getting in the way of his marriage?
To racism in Charlottesville.
Joe Scarborough was married, and whatever.
Racism across the board. Children in...
Well, tell me an example of racism that includes Donald Trump having ushered in an era where the least amount of African Americans in U.S. history were unemployed.
Cages. I mean, lie after lie after lie, conspiracy theories. Our country right now is really at a breaking point. If we don't...
I think you are, actually, and you should have your meds up, upped.
Don't find a way to hold this president accountable with his attempts to undermine...
You are so done. Honestly, you are so done. And Norm, no, nobody watches her.
The post office, and also his apparent negligence.
I'm going to tell you, I'm a pretty smart guy. This woman is dumb as a box of effing rocks. Seriously, she is dumb as a box of rocks. I don't have a national platform. I'm working on it, though. But she is just ungodly, uninformed, and stupid.
Perhaps purposeful on saving the American people's lives in this pandemic. You are pathetic at this point with his calamitous coronavirus leadership.
What are you talking about?
It's killing Americans every day.
You are high.
He could be keeping people alive. He's choosing not to.
No, honestly, Donald Trump wants people to die, you ignorant.
Every day, This president looks more ridiculous.
Oh, I think you look pretty ridiculous. Yeah. Let's move forward.
Children miraculously just don't get it. You're wrong. There's no one who has been more wrong than you on this, and you're the president of the United States.
I feel so sorry for Joe Scarborough.
I'm thinking of
I mean, you're pretty hot and everything, and I'm glad we got into this thing and we got married, but God, I've got to live with you forever.
Tulsa, where the Trump campaign took the social distancing stickers off the chairs.
That was so honestly sexist of me.
And squished people together.
But can you imagine? Good morning, honey. How are you?
And made them click.
Oh, God, kill me.
On a waiver saying you can't sue.
I'm just going to go into the kitchen, make some coffee, have a bagel, and kill myself.
If you get the coronavirus and die from coming to this rally.
Hello, I'm done. Let's do a couple more stories, shall we? Yeah, that's some fun. Now, we know about the explosion in Baltimore. This is unreal. I want to share the video, not for any reason, but holy crap. There was a gas explosion in Baltimore. Some people, a couple of people have died. People have been injured. I'm going to share the video just because this is what happens with the Ring doorbell thing. It is remarkable. I hope and pray for honestly, I'm only showing this because it's like remarkable footage. And we hope that people who were involved in this are better. But watch this. Holy hell. Holy hell. If you smell gas, seriously, call the authorities. Holy hell. Pretty interesting story out of people. A lot of people are going to Sturgis. Everybody goes Sturgis, whatever. Hey, you know what? Honestly, I would love to go to Sturgis, but I don't have a motorcycle, and I don't plan on having one because my wife would never let me have one. But this woman, this is so stupid, guys. Iowa biker got off a motorcycle, approached a buffalo calf to take a picture. Don't do this, okay? Wild animals are wild, okay? This is this poor woman. Dear God in heaven. Everybody stop, and they're part of the motorcycle, parade. And she gets out to, do a video. And this looks honestly like a bad bullfight in Tijuana. Watch this. Holy hell. Don't take a picture of a bison's baby because the mom's going to kick your ass. Same goes for bears.
This is a problem.
Just let the bison go. We live in a home where the buffalo roam. Let them roam.
This woman's nuts.
This happened at a campground like 3 weeks ago. Woman got her ass completely wrecked by a bison. Let it go. Oh boy. Usually accomplished or accompanied by a video of hold my beer or watch this. It's going to get ugly.
Is trying to call.
Be ready.
The buffalo over to her.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
I might be getting her death on camera.
Yes,
right
you
now.
might, because she's an idiot. Move forward.
She's reasoning with him now.
Move forward.
She has no pants on?
No, not anymore.
Oh, back up.
Oh my God.
Okay, there we go. Here we go.
Oh,
Here we go.
she's reasoning with him now. She's talking with him.
Oh boy.
Oh my God, it got her.
Yep, and it's dragging her.
Holy shit. Oh my God.
Oh boy.
Don't.
Yeah. Okay.
She has no pants on?
No, not anymore.
Oh my
You're on
God.
this horn.
She's unconscious.
Probably.
Jesus Christ.
Okay. Don't mess with wild animals. They're not your friends. You'd like to think they are. They're not. Hello, Norm. Norm says, I'll loan you my scooter. Hello, Sherry. No, I'm not going to say that, Norm. Nice. Jennifer and Amy and Brandy, hello. Good to have you join me tonight. I'm almost done tonight, guys. I do appreciate it. I actually have a couple stories that I want to share with you before I go. Okay. This is video of a helicopter ride. I believe this is in Hawaii. This is really fascinating. I want you to watch this. This is a guy flying through a helicopter or through a rainbow on a helicopter. Okay. This is unbelievable. I share this with you because it's like, holy hell. Just watch this. I like to occasionally share videos that's like, you will not get it anywhere else. Can you imagine living through this? Watch. Watch this. They're going to fly through a rainbow. This is unbelievable. Unbelievable. And they flew right through it. Now, for those of you who think that Joe Biden is going to win the election, I'm not seeing a lot of Joe Biden boat parades like on Lake Okoboji in Iowa. Yeah, this is like last weekend. Thousands of boats coming out to support Donald Trump. Unbelievable. You know why? Because Donald Trump is going to win the election, and the Democrat Party already knows. They already know. They already know. Unbelievable. Before I go, this is one more video for you, and I appreciate you joining me tonight. It's from Lodi, California. And there are a lot of people who are ripping on the police and Antifa members and Black Lives Matters members, screaming the most vile things at them. This is a police officer, a female officer in Lodi, California. And they rolled up on someone who is in a wheelchair, an electric wheelchair. And they are stuck in the middle of the railroad tracks. I want you to watch this, because this is what our first responders do every effing day. And if you don't support them, and if you are anti-police, you can suck it. Okay? Watch this as this police officer, female officer, leaves her cruiser to confront death and saves a life. This is amazing. Watch this.
I'll be out with the bell stack on the tracks trying to get him out.
Watch this.
Go on, can you get up?
Watch this as you support Antifa. Watch this as you will support BLM.
Get up.
Watch this. Watch it again.
Can you get up? Get up.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine a day like that? Can you imagine a day like that in your life? Where part of your day is saving someone's life like that? Have you ever done that? If you're an Antifa member or a BLM member, have you ever saved somebody's life like that? Dear God in heaven, no, you haven't. That is just unreal. Unreal. Wow. Wow, wow. So it's time for me to go. I appreciate you joining me, Eric and Norm. And hold on, who else? A lot of people watching. Jennifer and Amy and Brandy and Greg and, oh my God in heaven, and John and Richard and Carol and all you guys. I greatly appreciate you joining me tonight, guys. If you would get a chance to watch out my show on Newsmax TV. Also, politically incorrect designs at tpublic.com. Conservatees, I apologize. It's been a long day. Thanks for watching. I do appreciate it. Have a glorious evening. God bless you. And I will see you again very soon. See ya.